Hello class, welcome once again to a different class. This will be focusing on locking cells and creating a data entry form. You shall even be able to view another data entry form, but not necessarily creating it, because it would need some coding, and unless you are interested, we shall be doing that tutorial later compared to now. So this video is not about Visual Basic, it's about dealing with things that already exist in Excel, even though VB also resides here. If you go to macros, you will have to find your VB, and in the section of a developer. So by this we shall utilize some of the things we've already learned. We can come here and say maybe months. We call this months. We call this team. We can say we have a team called Angel, we have a team called Eddie, we have a team called Shina. Maybe this team had 500, then this is 300. It could be consider them to be kilograms. Month, we have Jan, then we have Feb, we have March. So in March there was 500, then this is 200, and this is 200. 200, and can remove this 500. Here we have 400, we have 400, and we have 300. So we could utilize the formattings that we have already studied. We can apply all borders here, then we can make this bold for the start. We can apply, say, font style and font size to be 12. We could choose to expand our columns. You can say you can double click. You can instead come to format and say auto fit. For example, it will push these ones inside, but I would prefer more space for today because my table is small enough. So I can make this 20. Can make this, let's say, 15. So we could put total here, and also total here. We are going to our next topic shall be dealing with functions. So you can pick a few things here. We shall begin with the basic one. Say sum. I like to show you how to type them, because then you do not make several mistakes. We would do this. I'm going to show you another way which would also help us achieve this, but it might not be that nice. So we can come here and say that sum B5, sum B5, you will see it highlighted, okay, plus C5 plus D5. So we close our brackets and hit enter, and we shall have our total. Now we can use autofill. The cursor turns into that cross sign, and then we have all the totals there. So these are total per group. Consider these to be teams, whereas here we could highlight it like that. We stop where we expect this answer to be, then we can come to auto sum, since we know we are adding cells that are following each other. After that, we can then do something like that. Okay, we can go ahead and use autofill. So this table, we can come here. In our last tutorial we looked at merging. We can call this maybe cells in quarter, cells in quarter. We can also make it a bookman, and there are, you can make this 12 bold. You can put it here in the middle. You can see this is top, middle, bottom. This is where we find them. So that is middle section. So we can add on other things. Maybe we can come here and we say give that background. We can come to this guy and say this could be maybe this gray. The color, we can make it like that. Then we have these totals, then the background can turn to be this, and the color of these words to be white. Then this one here is also different. We can make it look like that and maybe stop at that. So here we are with our information now. You can save such as that you do not lose your work in case you are working on a desktop and the machine and the power goes off, and you might not have a UPS. So make sure when you are dealing with these things you keep saving. This Excel is not like Access where you are entering stuff in a database and then it keeps storing itself. So we are going to make sure, our duty is to make sure the user only edits these. So for example, you have a company data that you want to install, but they don't want you to touch how the totals come about. Okay, it could be a salary structure, percentages are already set, and then the total, you have gross pay, allowances, net pay is calculated by the totals, and what the person is going to, finally that is going to the bank, is also calculated by certain formulas. But you are allowed as an accountant or one who prepares payroll, for example, or a data entrant of anything, you can only edit this information. Okay, you don't touch the month, you don't touch the themes. These are cells, for example. Here you are not allowed to change the themes. Only the person who created this can be allowed to change the themes and the month. So we are trying to see theme this guy, theme this guy, theme this lady, their performance in a quarterly manner. So it means we could also come here, copy this, paste it down here, or next here we have another quarter, another quarter, another quarter. So your data is to simply enter the data according to that quarter. And this is important because it will help you secure your work. You know, it is, even if you send it to the boss, they can play around with this data, but not any other thing that maybe you wanted secured. So let's see how to do that. First and foremost, we can highlight all the cells by clicking on this arrow. You will be highlighting the entire worksheet. You could right click, you could go to format cells, right click and say format cells, and we are simply interested in the protection section here. We could say we've realized that all the cells can be locked. Okay, there is information here, we are going to come to it. Now that all that can be locked, then the next one is to highlight the area where you want the editing to take place. So this is where we want the editing to take place. We can right click here, we go to format cells, and then we untick this locking. So, okay, so one more thing is that we would need to go back and click on review here. And just even leave it highlighted with this. Click on review, then we say protect worksheet. When we do that, we can put a password. Most people do not like using it, but I suggest if you want to be more serious, you put a password, that in case somebody wanted to edit this without it, it can still work. But I suggest you put a password. You can put 123, something simple that you remember. You confirm the password 123, and then of course 123 is not a cheap, is a very cheap password. Somebody can easily guess it, so you can put in a stronger password depending on the sensitivity of your work. So when we come here and try to edit this, they quickly give us this message: the cell or chart you are trying to change is on a protected sheet. To make a change and protect the sheet, you might be requested to enter a password. So whereas this section, somebody can change this to 300. See, our totals will be adding themselves on both occasions, which is what we wanted, but not somebody putting these totals manually or even changing these months. So all these now become errors every time you do it. But we have also allowed that somebody can highlight it, that somebody can copy it, somebody can paste it, but they cannot edit it, which is the most important thing. Because yes, you could copy this, paste it down across here, and you edit it to April, May, and June, okay, but re-edit it afresh. You as the owner, of course, who has the password, but the rest would not be able to do that. They can copy it, paste it somewhere, but they will still need to have these permissions. So that is how we can protect our cells from any intruder or any challenges. It means we could have locked the whole sheet, so when we send it to someone, they can only read, make comments somewhere else. Okay, you can see everywhere else is now locked. You could as well unlock these if that is your interest. Maybe you can see this. You can we need to first and protect the workbook. So you can come back here, you can right click this section, format cells. We also say that this do not protect it. Okay, then we do merge center, then we go back to review here, protect sheet 1 2 3 1 2 3. So when we come to this is protected, which is good. This is also protected. Somebody can make changes here, which is what we wanted, and also someone can now type in their analysis of whatever this was. Okay, so you don't allow them to change anything, but you are saying it is okay, go ahead and make your analysis. You can see all these are now inactive, but you let somebody can type here the information they wanted to tell you, and then resend the document to you. That is all. You could have pre-formatted this to whatever you want it to achieve, and then you would be good to go. So let us look at something else, something concerning data entry, because we shall be dealing with some data in our next tutorials. We want to remain in these things. We could say, let's say we have a worksheet here. We have a worksheet there. You can see the locking, which is very good. We could rename this worksheet to say data entry. So we could have something like this. Maybe we have category, okay, then we have task, we have say date, we have the person in charge, then we have status. So we could do something like this. We can choose to increase how big these ones are by simply saying that increase the column width. So let us begin with 16. Can't go further than that, to 20. Then we could this can be okay, or just increasing these manually. So you can have that size. Now we want to say that we are able to create we want us to be able to create this as a data entry form. Okay, so we can click here or here depending on where we think our table stops. One thing I didn't show you prior is that if this is what you have decided upon, for example saying something like this, you could come to view and remove grid lines. This is removing grid lines will make sure your document stands out, as you can see. So the grid lines here are not visible, but your work here is what is visible. So if in case you wanted to utilize that, you can go ahead and utilize it. So it works per sheet, not that you will have removed them from here. So back to this, we have created this work. Okay, you could there is this format as table. You could use this quickly, changing it to to a table. You could as well use another shortcut, Ctrl T. You can see, and then tick that my table has headers. This is what you call cell referencing, absolute to be exact. We shall see it when we come to dealing with functions and formulas in Excel, the ifs, and a few calculations. It is very important. So it is an absolute cell reference, and also utilizing the functions of a range. Okay, because this is A3, starting from A3 to E3, this is the last cell. So you could edit this in case this was not picked. You could edit this in case it had picked the upper row, yet you wanted this row. You could just edit it here and you would get what you want. So my table has headers. To tick this would mean that whatever is selected here is what is considered as the table header. So we can say okay. Now you can see that this table looks like Microsoft Word. If you are familiar with Microsoft Office, you would know that this is how the table looks like. You can give it a name here. You can resize the table. Now you've activated the functions of using the table in Excel. So with this we need to create a form. We need to have a form function. Quite a number of ways that you can do it. We can come to here on quick access toolbar. It is not common here. We don't have it there on the ribbon. So you come to file. We had seen this section, file. Come to quick access toolbar. You want to put it on the access toolbar here. Then come and say command is not in ribbon. Then scroll down and look for command called form. It is here. Click on the form. Then you can add it such that it will be visible here. Okay, then you say okay. So now the form icon is visible, and if it is visible, then we can utilize that form. So one other thing you need to know is, for you to click on that form, you need to be within the active cells. This is what we mean by active cell. Let's assume our active cell is this, and then we click form. It will tell us that this can't be applied. Let me see if I can zoom it here. Let me first zoom a little bit. Okay, then I click form. So now you can be able to see the form, the message clearly. I think this can't be applied to the selected range. Select a single cell in a range and try again. So what that means is that it is informing us that you want to create a form where we did not set that the data is going to be entered. Okay, so that is something you need to remember. You know that if this is what you are going to do, then you will have to click here and then click form. So by default or automatically the form is going to pick your column headers, which is cool, because otherwise for other forms you would definitely have to design most of the things. But with this one here, you will have to pick, and the advantage is that this is one of the best ways of entering information. Why? Because you are not bothered or worried of tampering with any information here. You are not worried about tampering with any information here. Maybe the hand passed something, or you clicked somewhere you didn't want to click, and now you have entered something and you have forgotten what it was. This is one of the best ways. Even if you had big data that you are supposed to enter manually, you won't be able maybe to copy paste it. Even if you wanted to do copy paste, you would copy paste in this, and then you simply hit enter and information will be inserted. We can try to say, maybe for example, we have, say, category is machinery. Okay, can you hit a tab key? It's written on tab tab with the one arrow pointing left and another one pointing right. The task here could be maybe buying this machinery. The date that we want to buy this machinery is maybe 9th of October 2021. We could also say what the person in charge is, maybe procurement. Okay, What is the status? Not yet. So you hit enter and your information gets in quickly like that. You bring another one, maybe builders task. You can go back here. You can if you said restore, then it will come back to this its own status. Remove other. The other guy is still up here. You see him there. You could click on new if this doesn't come, but these days in the new ones it comes. You might not need to click on it. You always have a new entry created for you to put in. So this is builders. Okay, tab. I'm using tab such that I don't waste time coming to click here. This was set in the background. I will show you. It was set in the background that when I am here, this is autofocus. Then I press tab, it will go here, tab, 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 like this, like this. That is how it was set. You can set these functions in Visual Basic, but that is programming that you might not be interested in, so we will not go to that side. We have builders. The task is maybe hiring them. Okay. The date could also be maybe we are saying that by 1st of October 2021 the person in charge is the HR or human resource. Status not yet. We have not yet started hiring them. Maybe enter. So we can see we are having more information. Okay, we could have one last one, maybe site. Task is buying the site we want to build, and we are saying that we need to have bought this site by, let's say, 31st of September 2021. Person in charge is owner. Okay, boss, whatever it is, or manager. Status, we could say yes, meaning this particular record has already been created. So this is not the end. You could use this for a lot of data entries in cases where you, for example, want to enter data. We shall try it while using formulas. That way we can be able to achieve quite a lot. So we have stuff here like there are other things we could do. We can also use criteria. One, we have seen restore, that when you have typed something here and then this is not what you wanted, you could click restore and then you clear everything there before you hit enter. Because when you hit enter, then you would need to edit it. You would come here, this is number 2, but hiring is for HR. We could say HR-admin, that the HR should not do it alone, should do it with admin. You can see it here. So this is also for searching, and one way of doing this would be if you want to search something, for example, we've not created a lot of data, but we can come on criteria and then try to search. If we say criteria, we can come to status yes. So we are searching say previous. It will give us the information where yes was. Okay, because next there was no information. There was no any other person or any other field created for next. So you interchange these. If you want to use the form to enter data, you click on if form is visible, then we are dealing with criteria. If criteria is visible, then we are dealing with the form to enter new data. Another thing you can do here is data validation. We can do data validation. We could do data validation in a way that we can come to date here. Okay, we go to data and then we pick data validation. So it is right now set to any value, but you change this from any value to date, because whatever information you are putting in this is date. If it is date, then you can set the start date. Maybe the start date is September, for example. We could say 01 /09 2021. That is the start date, and the end date for this structure is 01 let's say December, maybe 31st December 2021. So that is the start date and the end date. Any date that is going to be included in here should be between these dates. Okay, so we could also come here and create an error message. We can say date not in range. So if you put in a date that is beyond or below what we have set, it should tell you that the date not in range. Then we could say maybe please input date between September, can say between 01 09 2021 and 31st August 2021. We could set it like that, and then we say okay. Now we could activate once again. The arrangement here is having issues. Arrangement here is having issues. We could change this 31st and make this 09. Okay, then this will be 31st. You see, immediately it complains that this data, they will change the date and it is not matching, because we have set so you can see that this is how you can do this. They can give you a chance to retry. You can see please input a date between this and this. Okay, they give you a chance to retry. Then the form pops up again. You can retry once again with this form, edit it. You can come here, just because there was directly inside. This can be maybe 14th of 09. So that date is now accepted. You could come to the form. Sorry, you can just click on this because it has not yet understood that. Machinery, there will be a new person here. We can enter in something else and enter the date. We could also come here and say maybe category is technical. Category could be, let's say, can just say restore. Category can be water supply, can be water supply. Okay, task is a connection. The date, let us put in a wrong date. You can even say 01 12 maybe 2022. Person in charge of this is the engineer. Person in charge of this is the engineer. Status is not yet, because we are creating all these things. You can see right away, because the date is out of range, it is informing us quickly that date not in range because of what we created. If you have forgotten how you create this, please, you can go back to how this video is structured. A few minutes ago, you would be able to understand how you do this. So when you click retry, you come here and maybe enter a proper year or a proper date. It is important that as you start doing this, you validate, you put in validations for your information, depending on what you are doing, of course. If they have got deadlines, you can put them there. If they have got start dates, you can put validation there that this should have started by this. Those are validations. Status would be yes or no. So quite many things like you had seen. So when we enter, that will be accepted. It means the information had not yet been. Can go back to this record. This was water supply. Task is connection. So this can update the table without changing anything concerning here. So these are some things that you need to know, and they are very helpful. In the next tutorial, we shall be talking about more on entering data, and we see how we can manipulate this data to get several things out of it.